My sister was always the elegant one, the poised one. I was kind of the rambunctious one that, you know, climbed trees in my dress and stuff, and she was the one that loved dancing and art and all of that, and she always did everything first and she did it well, and, you know, she was the kind of like a golden child in a way, and I looked up to her a lot because she just held herself with such like poise. She always had good advice, she always had my back. Yeah, she was a very talented artist and had a great personality, and she was just such a kind person, kind-hearted.
Beforehand, I used to be an artist.
She really started struggling in school. Her art started to look different. We really enjoyed drawing. I think I got into it first, and then she started drawing and she got better than me, and I was like, all right, you take that.
I don't draw anymore.
She knows, though, that there's a lot of things she can't do, and she struggles to articulate that, and I think it's really hard for her when she really gets to talk about it. But, you know, I think it's important for all of us to talk about, for sure.
It's like I can't do anything. It's like no one will let me. Anyone.
You know, you're raising these children thinking that they're perfectly okay, and then all of a sudden they start having seizures, and they go from seizures to losing their cognitive abilities, and then you're being told that it's neurodegenerative and that you're not going to have them. And it's such a, well, you just can't even wrap your mind around what they're telling you.
Watching that kind of, like, there was all these signs looking back, but at the time, you know, everyone was worried with their own things, you know, with school and stuff, and all I knew is that my sister was starting to act different, and I just thought it was epilepsy, the meds. We couldn't figure out why she wasn't getting better. She seemed to be getting worse.
Is it frustrating?
Very. Very frustrating.
I have a lot of kind of survivor's guilt for being the only sibling without this. Just luck of the draw with genetics, you know. I'm not even a carrier, but they happen to both have it. So that's a hard burden to bear, knowing that I'm gonna be okay and they're not.
For Ty, I can't imagine what it is like to be him, to have and to be told he has epilepsy. I haven't told either one of my children the full extent of what they have, because Anissa would lost so much of her cognitive abilities. There's so much decline there that she wouldn't have understood it. And I'm not gonna tell Ty something where he's gonna look it up and have to live with. That's, you know, but he's smart and he's put it together, and like, says, I don't want this to happen to me. So Ty and Anissa have been a part of the natural history study, which took place in Dallas. And so they had to undergo a lot of things, from EEGs to lumbar punctures, things that he was not happy about. Even the blood draw, he would be so angry at me. And the whole time that we were doing that, I just kept thinking, at the end of this, there's going to be a treatment, and he's going to be able to really know the full understanding of what he's done. And I would tell him, you're here helping Anissa, you're helping other patients, and I can't wait to get to the day where I can look at him and say, buddy, you know, we have been working on all this to save you, you know, so that you don't ever have to go through what sister has had to go through, that you're going to be able to have a pretty normal life.
As someone who studied science and has worked in labs before, I understand that it's a long process, and I understand that there's a lot of pieces there with money and time, and it takes time to develop these cures, and funding is hard to get sometimes, especially for rare diseases. But I think the important thing is just remembering the families that they're fighting for, you know, and hearing the stories of those families and what they've gone through, just to continue to encourage them to keep working on the cures, to find funding where they can, and to just keep pushing as hard as they can to help cure these kids.
I mean, like, I don't really know how that they make a cure. I just want to be normal again. Like I was when I was 13.
I mean, the thing that we're fortunate about is that, and I say fortunate loosely, I mean, none of this is, we're not fortunate to have this disease at all, but we do have, and both Anissa and I have, the mutation that's a slower progressing mutation. So they're able to, and basically Anissa at this point, she's been able to do a lot of things that other kiddos her age can't do. When they find out she's 24, they're like, what are you doing? What meds? I mean, they all want to know what medicine is she on, like because they want to replicate that. They want their kids to get to 24. So you have to think too, for us, when it impacts our family, every birthday she has, each time I get like, oh my gosh, she's gotten to 24. We have amazing researchers and biotech companies and other stakeholders that have come alongside us to really try to help find a cure. A lot of these people have given their life's career to helping to find cures and treatments for these patients. But it takes time and it takes a lot of money, and sometimes time is definitely not on these kids' side. It's progressive, it's neurodegenerative. Every single day they are going backwards. Every day they're experiencing decline, whether it's physical decline, decline in their organs, decline in their cognitive abilities. They're always experience decline. And so, you know, sometimes some of these treatments have been put on pause. But with these kids, we can't put them on pause. We can't just push pause and say, okay, we're gonna wait for this treatment to come. You know, it's only gonna be another year or 2 years or 5 years. Lafora never stops. It's always moving forward. And so the urgency for needing treatments is huge.
I am going to be volunteering in the lab that is working on a cure for my siblings at UT Southwestern with Dr. Manassian. My siblings participated in a natural history study and worked with him for about 3 years, and so my family feels very close to him, and it feels like a very big honor to be able to see his lab and his research, and I hope to be able to contribute as much as I can just on the lab side or the clinical side, just from a volunteer standpoint, to try and help.
We're really close to getting this treatment. We have a treatment that, I mean, it's not signed on the dotted line yet, but we are working on it, that she's gonna get this treatment and it's gonna at least help keep her where she is. You know, it may not reverse, you know, that would be your biggest wish and dream, but if it could just stop and hold her so I could push that pause button for a minute while we wait for these treatments to come, that would be amazing.
I think I'm in denial sometimes about how much it affects me. Because I really took for granted all that time we had together, and I'm thankful for it, but I just wish I'd known in that time before, because our relationship just looks so different now, and you know, we can't talk about a lot of things that we used to because it makes her sad. You know, like going to college, driving, getting a job, or having a boyfriend, dating, all of that. I can't share those things with her. And those are things I always thought I would be able to share with my sister, and things I thought she'd be able to share with me. And I had to be the one that was okay. And I'm just now kind of seeing the effects of what that's done to me. But I think that also it hurt too much for me to express at the time. She was my best friend.
We need these treatments. We need treatments, and we need them urgently. And it's hard because there's lots of funding for other things, but rare disease doesn't seem to be one of them. And until it's your child, you don't really understand the importance or the urgency. But on behalf of Anissa and Ty and all the other patients that need treatment, we need funding and we need urgency, and we need treatments to go into clinical trials so that we can at least see if they're going to work and give all these kids a chance and give them some hope.